What's the word, YouTube? It's your boy Big Will. We're back here with another episode of Life After Prison. I come across this video here, right? And it's about a young girl. She's in her car, and her car's reported stolen. She's in the UK. And, the cops pull up to detain her, and they're doing an investigation with the car, the reports of the car being stolen. Let's get into it, and I'll go through it as it happens. There's questions and problems I have with this video and what goes on in it. Let's take a listen.
It's the scene etched into Kate's memory, the moment a police officer forced her to the ground and held her at gunpoint. The vision's terrifying and begs the question, heavy-handed or justified?
And then I was laying on the ground.
It was quite frightening. There was only the one policeman, and he did have the gun, he had her down.
You raise your children to respect the police, and they're the people that you go to if something goes wrong. They're not the people that cause the wrong thing and cause you to fear for your own life and safety.
Kate Harcher is a mature 18-year-old. She's a disability support worker and mother to Dixie, the sausage dog, and she proudly bought her first car this year. But on October 15, she became the target of police on the New South Wales Central Coast.
I turned into my street and then he pulled onto my lawn. I went to get my dog out of the car, and then as I went to exit my door to get Dixie out, I turned around, he had his gun pointed at me. Never seen an older lady out.
Right away, you see he pulls up. He's right behind her. And he pulls on the side of her, okay? Now, if it's a report of a stolen car, why not box her in right away, right? Was he concerned that she was going to ram him? Maybe. So that's why he pulled right up on the vehicle. It's apparent that she wasn't running from him, right? She was just driving. She pulled into her driveway. And if it's a report of a stolen vehicle and it's driving casually, it's not speeding, it's not... If it was a stolen vehicle, the cops should have known when he's seen it in a license plate, he's going to try taking it off. Some people do pull into driveways. Oh, the cop will think I live here, and they're just going to keep on going. If it's a report of a stolen car, they're not going to keep on going. They're going to pull behind you. They're going to pull behind you and block you in. They're going to order you out. They're going to speak on the radio. They're going to jump out. Stay in your vehicle. Hands in your... This cop jumps right out right away, seeing it's a young girl, and goes for his gun.
Police on the New South Wales Central Coast.
I turned into my street and then he pulled onto my lawn. I went to get
Right
my
here,
dog
he
out
pulls
of the
up
car,
on the side of her.
and then as I went to exit my door to get Dixie
Now he's out.
I turned around, he had his gun pointed at me. He yelled out, "Get on the ground."
Right away, he's got his gun drawn. You can see it's a young girl. Does that make the case? No, because there are some girls that are really violent. There are some girls that are real criminals that will shoot at a cop. That will... And you can't stereotype because you just can't judge a book by its cover, right? But it's obvious this girl wasn't trying to run, or she wasn't trying to evade arrest. Oh, she had a stolen vehicle. When she seen the cops, she would have started running, right? But the problem is, right away you reach for your gun. You don't approach the vehicle. You don't approach the girl. You don't stop and you don't sit in your car and speak on the speaker. Right away you reach for your gun and order her to the ground. But they don't have tasers in the UK. With all the deaths and the people who are getting shot and the kids that are getting shot, accidental shootings, shootings on purpose, police shootings, there's got to be more control of the gun. Why right away do you reach for the gun? It's not a gang of kids. It's not some big muscular dude. It's not some young black kid that they think they're gonna have to chase down the street. It's a young white girl who's driving doing the speed limit. She's obeying the laws. She gets out of her car and casually opens up the door to get her dog out.
I have right to remain silent.
For 90 long seconds, Kate was
She got the
held
right to remain
at
silent.
gunpoint.
She's reading her rights while she's on the ground.
I kept asking why is the gun pointed at me because that was mainly what I was scared about. I honestly thought I was going to get shot.
While Kate says she was treated...
Heavy
I always thought that the gun was to be pulled in a fearful situation when the cops are in fear for their life. Not just to pull it out for force. It bewilders me. It bewilders me.
this year. But on October 15, she became the target of police on the New South Wales Central Coast.
I turned into my street and then he pulled onto my lawn.
You see
I
the
went to get
video.
my dog
She
out of
ain't
the
trying
car,
to evade.
And then as I went to exit my door to get Dixie out, I turned around, he had his gun pointed at me. He yelled out, get on the ground. You have right to remain silent.
Yeah,
For
the right to
90
remain
long
silent.
seconds, Kate was held at gunpoint.
I kept asking why is the gun pointed at me because that was mainly what I was scared about. I honestly thought I was going to get shot.
While Kate says she was treated like a criminal, Dixie was still in the car.
They put handcuffs on me and then
She's worried about
the
Dixie.
started explaining that the vehicle that day on the 15th of October was reported stolen by an older lady, but when I purchased the vehicle, it was off a younger Chinese male. I'd never seen an older lady at all.
Kate says she bought her BMW from a Sydney man who advertised it on car sales, and she had the paperwork to prove it.
When I did purchase the vehicle, he said it was on behalf of his friend because they were stuck in another country.
But police say Kate didn't transfer the rego papers into her...
I'm sure I'm in United States, and I'm 100% positive because I bought a car off of a girl who her friend was in prison. He had gotten locked up, and he asked her to sell his belongings. He was actually in the county jail, and he was trying to raise his bail. And he asked her to sell his belongings, his car, and his living room set, and things of that nature. But she had to have a notarized letter from him. When you're in the county or in prison or, when you're locked up, you can have a letter notarized for free since you're in jail and you have no funds. And if you do have funds, they will deduct $5 from your canteen money, your funds. But you have to have a letter notarized. When I was in prison, I had to have a letter notarized for my wife to give her access to my bank account. We weren't actually married. She was my daughter's mother. But I had to get a notarized letter for her to have access to my bank account so she can send me canteen and she can, I had no bail at the time. I was actually being detained on one charge and I was arrested on another, so there was no bail. And the first bail that I was on was revoked. Now, so I had to give her permission to get into my bank account, but I had to have her a notarized letter signed. So I don't know if it's different in the UK, but for this man just to say, I'm selling the car on behalf of a friend who's out of the country or whatever he said, he would have to have a notarized letter to come with it. If and so that was true, if he had the letter, then it becomes it can't be reported stolen if he had the notarized letter give him permission. But it was also, again, if you listen, it was reported stolen by a woman, an elderly woman, and she bought it off another man. Not his car again, still, but could have been stolen. Who knows?
Name for 4 months. Officers requested her car be towed while further inquiries were made.
Well, I was just shocked that I got it towed from my house and then they turn around and think they can ask me for money to pay for something that's mine and pay for something that I didn't want done. I didn't ask them to tow it away.
Kate says the fee was a...
No, it being on private property, it doesn't need a plate. Okay? So the car should never been towed, even if it's not registered. If it's on public property, you can tow it to private property, or the cops will have it towed for you and then you pay fees. At least in the United States. That, again, I personally know from a situation that happened. But for them to tow it out of her yard, it's only... I can see them towing it because they have a suspicion of it being stolen. But not because it's unregistered. Because it's on private property.
Eventually waived, and she got her car back after her dad Mark became involved. He's a retired police officer who was with the force for 16 years and cannot believe what happened to his daughter.
I've never seen an unarmed, compliant person be arrested at gunpoint. And not just arrested at gunpoint, but detained for such a prolonged time. Like,
Unarmed, like I said.
And, you know, while he's holding the gun on her, he keeps it covered the entire time, which is really upsetting because he's constantly fidgeting with his radios and stuff like that. And the chance of an unintentional discharge, they go through the roof.
And she's on the ground. She's
I don't
compliant.
even think she realises how much danger she was really in.
As a
Walk
father,
over to
how
her.
heartbroken were you when you watched that footage for the first time?
When she's on the ground,
Justified.
when she's on the
See
ground,
it.
when she's on the ground, she's being detained. You walk over to her and you put handcuffs on if you're just detaining her. For them to just stand there and hold her at gunpoint, no need of it. No need of it. Especially, again, her being a young kid and not putting up any fight.
Her name for 4 months. Officers requested her car be towed while further inquiries were made.
Well, I was just shocked that I got it towed from my house and then they turn around and think they can ask me for money to pay for something
Just
that's
to say
mine
the country's
and
way
pay
of
for
getting
something
money.
that I didn't
They make
want
money.
done. I didn't ask them to tow it away.
Kate says the fee was eventually waived and she got her car back after her dad Mark became involved. He's a retired police officer who was with the force for 16 years and cannot believe what happened to his daughter.
You can't believe it.
Never seen an unarmed, compliant person be arrested at gunpoint. And not just arrested at gunpoint, but detained for such a prolonged time. Like, it's just unnecessary. And, you know, while he's holding the gun on her, he keeps it covered the entire time, which is really upsetting because he's constantly fidgeting with his radios and stuff like that. And the chance of an unintentional discharge, they go through the roof. Like, I don't even think she realises how much danger she was really in.
That's
As a
just
father,
what I was saying at the
how
beginning.
heartbroken were you when you watched that footage for the first time?
No parent wants to see that. When I see that, I don't see, someone wearing the same uniform that I wore. I just see a man holding a young, defenceless woman on the ground.
Such
with a
is the
gun.
case nowadays.
The officer with his weapon drawn is a senior constable with Traffic and Highway Patrol. Kate was a suspended driver when the incident happened, but he let her off with a warning. Police say all officers apologised at the scene for the confusion, but Kate says the drama didn't end there, with the stolen warning still on her car weeks later.
I got pulled over. I had to explain to my client, obviously they have a disability, so I had to explain to my client, just stay calm, it's okay, and here they are.
So they actually had the right to arrest her, okay, being on a suspended license, and they didn't, right? And they apologized. They seemed fair. They seemed nice, right? But with so many people being killed by policemen nowadays, by it being brought to the forefront, there's no need to have the gun out on her. There's no need to be holding her at gunpoint. Anything could do. That poor little dog jumps up at the window. The guy gets nervous. He pulls the trigger, and she's dead. All for a mistake. You're going to hold her at gunpoint and then apologize later for, I'm sorry I put the fear into you. There's got to be more accountability held for policemen using their service revolver to intimidate and strike fear into people. There has to be. It's threat. It's threatening to do bodily harm. It's threatening to commit murder. It's threatening someone's life. It's putting fear in them. It's a threat. When you're pulling a gun out against someone who shows you no actual threat to your life, there should be no way that they can pull their weapon. Or they should be charged themselves.
He just said this vehicle's marked as stolen. I said I'm dealing with it at the moment with my solicitor and everything. And then he said, okay. And then he went back to his car and then he came back saying, sorry for bothering you. It's sorted out.
Do you feel under attack by the police?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
They weren't nice at all.
Because she's mom.
And which is really sad because I have such high respect for
Every
police.
time they
And
see
I was
her
just-
car, they're going to pull her
I
over.
just, like, even going to and from work, my car's like, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I still feel like someone's watching me. I still feel like every time a highway is behind me, like, my heart starts racing, no matter where I am.
Police say the stolen warning has now been removed from Kate's car, and investigations into the reporting of the vehicle as stolen are continuing. As for the highway patrol officer, police have received a formal complaint and are investigating his actions. Neighbour Linda Parker witnessed the ordeal but thinks the officer was just doing his job.
I was in tears for her. I don't think he was doing the wrong thing. I think he was only following his training because he had no idea that she wasn't the one that stole the car.
A series of unfortunate events that continues to play on Kate's mind.
And there's enough threats towards your children just in everyday life without worrying about the police threatening them with their life.
I
It's as
deserve
I
an
said.
apology, definitely.
It's a
And
threat.
even that wouldn't cover what I've been through.
They're the
It's a threat, right? And today, it's a threat against someone's life who's totally innocent. Totally innocent of what they were accusing her of, stealing the vehicle. She was not innocent of driving with a suspended license, okay? So in all actuality, they could have charged her, and they didn't, okay? Because they seen that she was a good girl. Because they seen she was a nice girl. Because they seen she didn't threaten him. Because they seen she wasn't a threat. She wasn't trying to run. She wasn't trying to evade police. In her mind, she did nothing wrong, right? And don't get me wrong, driving on a suspended license is wrong. But it doesn't cause a cop to pull his gun out. I don't know. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. What do you think about these cops with their guns? They're too quick. They're too much on the hand on the gun all the time. Anytime a cop comes up to talk to you, his hand's on his gun. One's on his gun, the other one's on his bat or his pepper spray. A lot of cops don't even carry billy bats anymore. They go right for the gun. They don't reach for the taser. They reach for the gun. And when you're running, do they tase you in the back? No, they shoot you in the back. It's gotta change. It's gotta change. We gotta police the police like they police us. It's your boy Big Will, Life After Prison. Hey, don't forget, before you leave, hit that like and subscribe button. It's free. I'll see you on the next one. Life After Prison TV. It's your boy Big Will. Peace.